I used to think my family was the safest place in my life. That belief lasted until a simple question at Sunday dinner made my wife look terrified. Rachel pushed her phone across the table. "Ethan, look at this." I glanced at the screen. A DNA test. "It's for my medical history project," she said. "I'm comparing family traits and inherited conditions. We should all do one." Noah immediately raised his hand. "I want to do it." I laughed. "You don't even know what it is." "I know. You spit in a tube." Rachel laughed. "Exactly." Claire stopped cutting Noah's chicken. "Don't." I looked at her. "Don't what?" "Don't take the test." Her voice was sharper than I had ever heard during an ordinary family dinner. Rachel lowered her phone. "Claire, it's just a family test." "I know." "Then why are you upset?" "I'm not upset." "You look upset," I said. Claire forced a smile. "I just don't like those tests." "Why?" She looked at Noah, then at me. "Because you never know what they might find." I smiled awkwardly. "They might find I'm secretly from another planet." Rachel laughed. Claire didn't. "I'm serious, Ethan." I stopped smiling. "What are you afraid they'll find?" "Nothing." "Then why are you telling me not to take it?" "Because medical results can scare people." Rachel frowned. "It could also help us." I said no. The table became quiet. Noah looked between us. "Mom, did I do something wrong?" Claire immediately softened. "No, sweetheart. Of course not." She reached across the table and touched his hand. "You did nothing wrong." I watched her carefully. Something about that sentence bothered me. Later, after Rachel left, I found Claire washing dishes. "Can we talk?" She kept her back toward me. "About the test?" "Yes." "I already told you how I feel." "You didn't tell me why." She turned around. "I don't need a reason to say no." "You're right." I stepped closer. "But you're acting like that little tube could destroy our family." Her face changed. "It could." I stared at her. "What does that mean?" She looked away. "I mean, people sometimes discover things they wish they hadn't." "Like what?" "Genetic illnesses." "That's it?" "Yes." I wanted to believe her. I really did. I kissed her forehead. "Okay, we won't take it." She closed her eyes. "Thank you." But when I walked upstairs that night, I couldn't forget her expression. Claire had been my wife for 8 years. She knew every fear I had, every weakness, every dream. I believed I knew hers. At 11:30, I woke up thirsty. Claire wasn't beside me. I walked downstairs and saw a faint light coming from the kitchen. She was sitting alone at the table. Her phone was in her hand. I stopped before entering. She was searching something. I couldn't read everything from the doorway, but I saw the words clearly enough. "Can DNA tests prove biological father?" My chest tightened. I stepped into the kitchen. "What are you doing?" Claire nearly dropped her phone. "Ethan." She locked the screen. "What?" I stared at her. "Why are you searching about biological fathers?" Her face went pale. "I wasn't." "I saw it." "You misunderstood." "I saw the words." She stood. "It was nothing." "Claire, please." I wasn't angry yet. I was scared. "Tell me why you searched that." She shook her head. "Please don't ask me." "Why?" "Because I can't." "Can't or won't?" Tears filled her eyes. "Ethan, I need you to trust me." "I have trusted you my entire life." "I know." "Then help me understand." She covered her face. "I can't lose you." I felt my stomach drop. "Lose me?" "I didn't mean it like that." "Then what did you mean?" She walked toward me and grabbed my hands. "Please promise me something." "What?" "Don't take that test." I stared into her wet eyes. "Why?" "Because if you love me, you'll let this go." Her words hurt more than an accusation. I slowly pulled my hands away. "Okay." She looked relieved. "I promise." I walked upstairs without another word. Claire believed the question had ended. It hadn't. I lay awake beside her, staring into the darkness. I thought about Noah sleeping down the hall, his dinosaur blanket wrapped around him. Every night before bed, he asked me the same thing. "Dad, Will you read 2 stories? I always answered, 3 if you finish brushing your teeth. He would grin and say, deal. I was his father. That was all that mattered. But now Claire's fear had placed a question between us. I hated myself for thinking it. I hated her for making me think it. Most of all, I hated the possibility that something important about my family had been hidden from me. Still, I promised myself I wouldn't accuse Claire without proof. If there was a secret, I would discover it. Quietly, one terrible thought kept returning. What could a DNA test reveal that my wife was so desperate to hide? And why did she look more afraid of the answer than I did? I barely slept after Claire begged me not to take the DNA test. Every morning, I looked at her differently, not because I believed she had betrayed me, but because I had started noticing things I once ignored. When I mentioned Noah's baby pictures, Claire changed the subject. When I asked about his hospital records, she suddenly found something else to do. One evening, I finally asked, Claire, where are Noah's birth records? She froze. Why do you need them? I don't need them. I was just looking for his vaccination papers. They are somewhere. Where? I don't remember. I stared at her. You always know where everything is. She sighed. Ethan, please stop looking for problems. I'm not looking for problems. Then what are you looking for? Answers. Her eyes hardened. About what? I almost mentioned the DNA test. Instead, I said, about our family. She turned away. Our family is fine. I wanted to believe her. I really did. But that night, I called Rachel. She answered immediately. What's wrong? How did you know something was wrong? Because you never call me this late. I sat in my car outside my house. Rachel, have you ever felt like someone was hiding something from you? She paused. Are you talking about Claire? Maybe. Ethan, be careful. Why? Because suspicion can destroy a family faster than truth. I know. Do you? Her voice softened. If you accuse Claire without proof, you might never repair what you break. I don't want to accuse her. Then don't. But something is wrong. Then find facts, not fears. Her advice stayed with me. The next afternoon, Claire left to pick Noah up from school. I went upstairs looking for his vaccination records. While searching the closet, I noticed an old storage box behind some winter clothes. I pulled it forward. Inside were photographs, receipts, and hospital papers. Then I found an envelope. My name wasn't on it. Neither was Claire's. It had Noah's full name and a hospital reference number. My hands became cold. I opened it. The birth date was correct. The hospital was correct. But the reference number meant nothing to me. I took a photograph of it with my phone. Then I heard the front door open. Ethan. Claire's voice. I quickly put everything back. Upstairs. She entered the room. What are you doing? Looking for Noah's records. Her face changed instantly. Why? I found them. She walked toward me. Give them to me. Why? Because they are private. I'm his father. I know. Then why are you scared? I'm not scared. You are. She snatched the envelope from my hand. It's old paperwork, Ethan. Then explain the reference number. It doesn't matter. How do you know? Because I do. I stared at her. You've seen it before. She said nothing. Claire. I don't want to discuss this. Neither did you want to discuss the DNA test. She looked hurt. You're becoming obsessed. I'm becoming concerned. About me? About Noah? Her expression softened for 1 second. Then she looked away. You need to trust me. I trusted you. The words came out harder than I intended. She flinched. I still do. Then stop questioning everything. I can't. She walked out. That evening, I called my oldest friend, Marcus Hill. He answered with a laugh. You sound terrible. Thanks. I'm serious. What happened? I told him everything. He stayed quiet. Finally he said, don't confront her again tonight. Why? Because you're angry. I'm scared, Marcus. I know. What if Noah isn't? I couldn't finish. Marcus immediately understood. Don't say it until you have facts. I found a hospital reference number. Then investigate that. How? Start with the hospital. The next morning, I called the number on an old medical card and asked for Dr. Samuel Reed. After several transfers, a receptionist finally connected me. A calm older voice answered. This is Dr. Reed. Doctor, my name is Ethan Parker. You treated my son Noah after his birth. There was a long silence. Yes, he finally said. I found an old hospital record with a reference number I don't understand. Another silence. Where did you get that? From my wife's records. His voice became careful. Ethan, I can't discuss confidential medical information. I understand. I mean it. Then answer one question. What question? Was there anything unusual about Noah's birth? The silence lasted even longer. Then Dr. Reed quietly said, There are things about that night you were never told. My heart stopped. What things? I can't tell you. Doctor, please. I'm sorry. The call ended. I lowered the phone slowly. I sat alone in my car for several minutes, unable to start the engine. I remembered holding Noah for the first time, believing the world had changed. I remembered Claire crying beside me. I remembered the nurse saying everything was fine. Now I wondered whether those words had been true. Claire's fears suddenly made sense. This wasn't only about DNA. It was about Noah. And whatever happened on the night my son was born, someone had spent 6 years making sure I never knew. I drove to the hospital the next morning with Dr. Reed's words repeating in my head. There are things about that night you were never told. I hated how much those words frightened me. At the hospital records office, I showed the clerk the reference number. She frowned. Where did you get this? It was in my son's birth records. She typed for several seconds. This file has restricted access. Why? I don't know. Can you tell me who requested it? She hesitated. Daniel Cross. I felt my stomach tighten. Who is Daniel Cross? You don't know? No. She lowered her voice. He was listed as an emergency contact connected to the case. Emergency contact. Yes. I thanked her and walked outside. I called Marcus again before leaving the parking lot. Find everything you can about Daniel. I will. No rumors. I want facts. Understood. I ended the call, realizing that I wasn't simply afraid anymore. I was afraid of what I already knew deeply. An hour later, Marcus sent me an address. I stared at it. Then I drove home. Claire was in the kitchen preparing lunch when I walked in. Who is Daniel Cross? The knife in her hand stopped. She slowly placed it on the counter. Where did you hear that name? The hospital. Her face lost its color. Ethan, please. Please what? Don't ask me about him. Why? Because he's part of my past. I felt something inside me crack. Your past? Yes. How far back? Before you. Were you dating him? She looked down. Yes. For how long? Almost 2 years. I took a breath. Did you love him? Claire's eyes filled with tears. I thought I did. Did he know about Noah? She didn't answer. Claire. He knew I was pregnant. My hands went cold. Was Noah his? I don't know. You don't know? I was terrified. You were terrified for 6 years. She started crying. I didn't know what to do. You could have told me. I thought you'd leave. I married you. I know. I raised Noah. I know. Then why did you hide this? Because Daniel disappeared. What does that mean? He said he didn't want responsibility. I stared at her. And you never contacted him again? No. Then why was he connected to Noah's hospital record? I don't know. I wanted to believe her. But something didn't fit. That evening Marcus arrived carrying a laptop and an old folder. I found these. He placed several photographs on my table. The first showed Claire beside Daniel at a restaurant. The date was printed on the back. I checked it twice. It was during the exact month Noah had been conceived. My throat tightened. This proves they were together. Marcus nodded. But not that Daniel is Noah's father. I picked up another photograph. Claire was standing beside Daniel outside a hotel. She was smiling. I looked at the date. Why didn't she tell me this? Maybe she was afraid. Maybe. I heard the front door open. Claire walked inside. She saw the photographs. Her eyes filled with tears. Ethan. I held up the hotel picture. Explain this. I can. When? Please let me. Now. She sat down. Daniel and I had an argument. He wanted me to leave with him. And you refused. Yes. Why? Because I discovered what kind of man he was. What did he do? He lied about everything. Then why is he connected to Noah? I don't know. You expect me to believe that? She covered her face. I know how this looks. It looks like you built our marriage on a lie. I never cheated after meeting you. That isn't what I'm asking. She looked at me. I never wanted Daniel in Noah's life. Why? Because he wasn't safe. That answer stopped me. What does that mean? She shook her head. I can't tell you. Then we're done talking. I walked away before I said something I would regret. That night, my phone rang from an unknown number. Hello. Ethan Parker. Yes. This is Daniel Cross. I stood up. How did you get my number? That doesn't matter. It matters to me. You've been asking questions about Noah. My heart began pounding. What do you know? I know Claire is lying to you. She told me about your relationship. That's only part of it. What other part? Daniel laughed quietly. You still think this is about an old affair? Then tell me what it is. I can't explain everything over the phone. Try. Claire is terrified of one thing. What? The DNA test. I tightened my grip on the phone. Why? Because the result won't simply tell you whether I'm Noah's father. Then what will it tell me? Daniel paused. It will tell you who Noah really is. The call ended. I stood frozen in the darkness. For the first time, I wasn't investigating Claire's past. I was investigating my son's identity, and I knew there was only one way to get the truth. I was going to take the DNA test. I took the DNA test on a Monday morning. Claire stood across from me in the kitchen, staring at the small testing kit between my hands. Ethan, please. I've already decided. You don't understand what you're doing. I understand exactly what I'm doing. No, you don't. I looked at her. I need the truth. She shook her head. The truth won't make anything better. Maybe not. It could destroy Noah's happiness. Lies can destroy it too. Her eyes filled with tears. I never wanted this. Then help me understand why you're so afraid. She said nothing. I collected the sample, sealed the package, and placed it beside the front door. Claire watched me like I had just signed away our marriage. I love you, she whispered. I swallowed. I love you too. Then don't send it. I have to. She closed her eyes. I'm sorry. Those two words followed me for days. The waiting was worse than I expected. Claire moved into the guest room. Noah noticed. Dad, why is Mom sleeping upstairs? She needs better sleep. Did you two fight? I forced a smile. Adults sometimes disagree. Are you getting divorced? My heart cracked. No. I didn't know whether I was lying to him or myself. One night, Claire came downstairs while I sat alone in the living room. Ethan. What? Can we talk? I didn't look away from the television. About what? Us. I turned it off. Okay. She sat across from me. I need you to know something. What? No matter what that test says, Noah is your son. I felt anger rise. Don't tell me what he is. I'm trying to protect you. From the truth. From losing everything. I stared at her. You already made me lose something. What? My trust. She lowered her head. I know. 3 days later, the email arrived. I saw the subject line on my phone. DNA relationship results. My hands started shaking. I didn't open it immediately. I walked into my office and closed the door. Then I clicked. The report loaded. I read the first sentence. Probability of biological fatherhood, 0%. I stopped breathing. I read it again. Then again. My chair suddenly felt too large. No. The word barely escaped my mouth. I stared at Noah's name. Then mine. Not his biological father. 6 years of memories crashed through my mind. His first steps. His first fever. His first day of school. Every bedtime story. Every birthday. Every time he called me Dad. I covered my face. I didn't know how long I sat there. Eventually, I walked downstairs. Claire was standing in the kitchen. She saw my expression. You got the results. I held up my phone. I'm not his father. She began crying. Ethan. Don't. I was going to tell you. When? I don't know. After Noah turned 18. She covered her mouth. I was scared. You let me raise another man's child without telling me. I never thought of Noah as another man's child. But he is. Claire flinched. I immediately regretted shouting. But the pain was too deep. Who is his father? She whispered the answer. Daniel. I closed my eyes. Daniel Cross. Yes. You knew. I suspected. You suspected? He was the only possibility. And you never told me. I thought Daniel was gone. That doesn't excuse it. I know. You should have given me a choice. I was afraid you'd leave. I might have. Her tears fell faster, but you didn't give me the chance to decide. I know. I walked toward the window. Did Daniel know? He knew I was pregnant. Did he know about Noah? Yes. Then why didn't he come? Because he didn't want him. I laughed bitterly. So you chose me because I was willing to stay. No. Then why? Because you loved him. I turned around. You mean I loved him while you kept the truth from me? I loved you too. That's not enough. A knock came from the front door. Claire froze. I looked at her. Who is it? She didn't answer. Another knock came. I opened the door. Daniel stood outside wearing an expensive black suit, his expression calm. You. He nodded. We need to talk. Claire stepped behind me. Daniel, leave. He ignored her. Ethan, the DNA report is only the beginning. I stared at him. What does that mean? Claire grabbed his arm. Stop. Daniel pulled away. You deserve to know. Know what? He looked directly at me. Noah isn't the only secret. Claire's face turned white. Daniel. What are you talking about? Daniel lowered his voice. The DNA results prove something Claire never told you. I stepped forward. Tell me. Claire suddenly screamed. Get out. Daniel stared at her. You can't hide this anymore. Leave my house. He looked back at me. I'll contact you tomorrow. Then he walked away. I shut the door slowly. Claire stood behind me, shaking. What did he mean? She couldn't answer. Claire. Nothing. Tell me. She began crying. I can't. My heart sank. The DNA test had already destroyed my understanding of fatherhood. Now I realized it had uncovered something even worse. There was another secret. And this time, even Claire was terrified of the truth. I spent the entire night staring at the DNA report. I wanted to tear it apart. Instead, I called Marcus. I need another opinion. About the DNA? Yes. I know a specialist. Can she explain why Daniel said the report wasn't simple? I'll call her. 2 hours later, I sat inside Dr. Elena Brooks's office with the report between us. Elena was calm and direct. Tell me exactly what happened. I explained everything. When I finished, she studied the report again. This result confirms you aren't Noah's biological father. I know. But there's something unusual. What? The genetic relationship markers. I leaned forward. What do they mean? They don't support a straightforward father-son relationship between Noah and Daniel either. I stared at her. Daniel said he's Noah's father. Biologically, this report doesn't prove that. Then what does it prove? She pointed towards several sections. There are genetic similarities suggesting a connection to Daniel's family. His family? Yes. Could someone else in his family be related to Noah? That's possible. I felt my anger return. Why didn't anyone tell me this? Because the test you're holding may have been interpreted too simply. Can you explain it? Elena nodded. There may have been assisted reproduction involved. I frowned. Assisted reproduction? An embryo donation. Genetic material from one person, carried by another. I stared at the report. So you're saying Noah could be connected to Daniel's family without Daniel being his biological father? Exactly. My phone suddenly felt heavy in my hand. I called Daniel. He answered quickly. What did she tell you? You know about the DNA. I told you there was more. Then explain it. There was silence. Ethan, my family used a fertility clinic years ago. What kind of arrangement? My parents couldn't have another child. They explored embryo donation. And Claire? She was involved later. Why? Because Claire was desperate to become a mother. I felt sick. Did she use your family's genetic material? Yes. I closed my eyes. Was Noah created from that embryo? I believe so. You believe? My family kept the records private. Then why did you tell me I was missing something? Because Claire knew enough to understand there was a possibility. I hung up. When I returned home, Claire was sitting alone in the living room. I stood across from her. Tell me the truth. She looked exhausted. About what? Daniel's family's fertility arrangement. Her face collapsed. You spoke to him. Yes. I didn't want you to know this way. Then tell me the way you wanted. She took a trembling breath. When I was pregnant, I knew there had been a fertility procedure. And you knew Daniel's family was connected? Yes. Did you know who Noah's biological father was? No. Then why did you let me believe he was mine? She began crying. Because I hoped he was. You hoped? You were there. I stared at her. You were the man who stayed. That's not an answer. I was terrified. Of what? Of losing you. You should have trusted me. I couldn't. Why? Because every time I imagined telling you, I imagined you walking away. I looked toward the hallway. Noah. She nodded. I couldn't let him lose his father. I shook my head. You didn't know what I would do. I knew you loved him. Then you should have known I deserved the truth. I know. I sat down. For the first time, my anger didn't feel clean anymore. I was still betrayed, but I could finally see her fear. You thought lying was protecting him. Yes. You thought keeping me ignorant was protecting our family. Yes. And you decided that choice belonged to you. She wiped her tears. Yes. I looked at the DNA report again. Do you understand what this did to me? Yes. I questioned every memory. I know. I wondered if you ever loved me. I did. I wondered if Noah was ever really my son. Claire reached for my hand. I almost pulled away. Then I stopped. He is, she whispered. I looked at her. Biology says otherwise. Noah doesn't know biology. Her voice broke. He knows you. Those words hit harder than I expected. I pulled my hand back and stood. I don't know what justice looks like anymore. Claire looked up. What do you mean? I thought I wanted to punish you. And now? Now I wonder if punishing you would hurt Noah more. She lowered her head. I don't deserve your forgiveness. I haven't forgiven you. I know. But I don't hate you. She began crying again. I walked toward the window. I need time. I'll give you time. I need the complete truth. You'll have it. And no more secrets. She nodded. No more. I looked at the hallway again. Noah was still asleep upstairs. I realized the question had changed. I wasn't only asking who Noah belonged to. I was asking what kind of father I wanted to be when the truth became unbearable. For the first time since the DNA test, revenge didn't feel like victory. Protecting Noah did. I woke before sunrise and found Noah sitting beside me. Dad. I opened my eyes. What are you doing here? I couldn't sleep. He climbed onto the bed and looked at me carefully. You look sad. I didn't sleep much. Did Mom make you sad? I swallowed. No. I have some grown-up problems. Can I help? His question broke something inside me. You already do. How? I pulled him into my arms. By being you. He smiled against my shirt. Are you still my dad? I froze. Why would you ask that? Mom, and you talk quietly now. I closed my eyes. I will always be your dad. Forever. Forever. He hugged me tighter. Good. After he left, I sat alone for several minutes. The DNA report said I wasn't his biological father, but it couldn't measure bedtime stories. It couldn't measure hospital nights. It couldn't measure the first time Noah called me dad. Biology had taken one thing from me. It couldn't take 6 years. My phone rang. Daniel. I answered. What do you want? I want to see Noah. He doesn't know you. He needs to know his biological family. You abandoned him before he was born. That was a complicated situation. You walked away. I was told Claire wanted nothing to do with me. She was pregnant. I didn't know what was happening. You knew enough to leave. His voice hardened. Ethan, don't pretend you're his father because you've raised him. I don't have to pretend. You have no biological claim. I have something stronger. What? He calls me dad. Daniel went silent. Then he said, I have rights. You'll have to prove them. I may take this to court. Then do what you have to do. I ended the call. My hands were shaking. Claire entered the room. Was that Daniel? Yes. What did he say? He wants Noah. She closed her eyes. I knew this would happen. No, you feared it would happen. She looked at me. You're right. I was surprised by the answer. She sat down. I need to tell you everything. I'm listening. Daniel left before Noah was born. Why? He didn't want the responsibility. And you never told me. I was ashamed. That isn't enough. I know. She looked directly at me. When you came into my life, you loved me without asking questions. When you learned I was pregnant, you stayed. I thought Noah was mine. I know. That was my choice. I know. No, Claire. That is the part you still don't understand. She started crying. You denied me the choice to know the truth. Yes. That hurt more than the DNA result. I understand now. I stared at her. Do you? Yes. She wiped her face. I was afraid of losing the only stable family Noah had. But I made the decision for everyone. I nodded slowly. You did. I am sorry. I believe you. She looked surprised, but I'm still hurt. I know. That afternoon, Daniel arrived with a lawyer. We met in my living room. Daniel sat across from me. Noah should know where he comes from. I agree. And he should spend time with his biological family. That decision will not be made by you alone. He is my son. He is my son too. You just admitted you're not his biological father. I don't need biology to know what I am. Daniel leaned forward. DNA doesn't lie. No, but DNA doesn't raise children either. His lawyer interrupted. Mr. Parker, my client has legal interests here. I looked at him. My son isn't an object to be divided. Daniel's expression hardened. You're keeping me away from my own child. You haven't earned a place in his life. That isn't your decision. Then prove you can be there for him without tearing his world apart. Daniel stood. This will go to court. Then I'll meet you there. He walked toward the door. Before leaving, he turned. You'll lose. I stood. Maybe. Then I added, but I won't abandon him. After the door closed, Claire whispered, What are we going to do? I looked toward Noah's room. We protect him. Even if it costs us everything. Yes. She nodded. I'll tell the truth. You need to. I won't hide anymore. I walked upstairs. Noah was drawing a picture. He held it up. Look, Dad. I smiled. What is it? Us. I looked at the paper. There were 3 people holding hands. Me, Noah, and Claire. My chest tightened. It's beautiful. He smiled. Can you put it on your desk? Of course. He hugged me. I held him tightly. The DNA test had changed my marriage. It had changed my understanding of the past. For years, I had believed fatherhood was something biology gave a man. Now I understood it was built through ordinary choices. Waking at night, holding a frightened child, teaching him, listening to him, and staying when leaving would be easier. I had done those things without knowing they would ever be questioned. But it hadn't changed the one thing that mattered most. I was Noah's father because I had chosen him every day. Now I would choose him again. Not for revenge, not to defeat Daniel, but because my son had trusted me with his whole heart. And I would fight to make sure he never had to wonder whether his father would stay. I sat outside the courtroom with Marcus beside me, staring at the floor. "How bad is it?" I asked. "The evidence is strong," Marcus said, "especially the records showing Daniel disappeared before Noah was born. I never wanted any of this." "I know. What if the judge thinks biology matters more than everything I've done?" Marcus looked at me. "Then tell the truth." Inside the courtroom, Daniel's lawyer presented his argument first. "My client is Noah's biological father," he said. "He deserves meaningful custody." I clenched my hands. Then my lawyer stood. "My client raised Noah from infancy. He attended every appointment, every school event, every difficult night. Daniel disappeared before the child was born." Daniel shook his head. "That isn't fair." I looked at him. Neither was leaving. The judge asked, "Mr. Cross, did you refuse responsibility when Claire told you about the pregnancy?" Daniel hesitated. "I was young. That was not my question." "Yes." The room became silent. My lawyer presented messages, hospital records, and photographs. One message from Daniel read, "I don't want this responsibility." I stared at the screen. I had once wondered whether I was stealing another man's place. Now I realized he had walked away from that place himself. Claire testified next. She looked exhausted. My lawyer asked, "Did Ethan raise Noah from birth?" "Yes." "Did Mr. Cross remain involved?" "No." "Did Ethan know Noah was not biologically his?" Claire lowered her eyes. "No." "Why did you hide that?" She swallowed. "I was afraid." The judge asked, "Afraid of what?" "Losing Ethan. Losing Noah's only stable family." I looked at her. For the first time, she didn't try to defend herself. After the hearing, I found her alone in the hallway. "Claire." She turned. "Can we talk?" I nodded. She wiped her tears. "I know I destroyed your trust." "You did. I won't ask you to forget." "Good. I only want you to understand. I understand that you were afraid." Her face tightened. "But being afraid doesn't make the lie right." "I know. You should have told me." "I know. Even if you thought I would leave." "I know." I looked away. "I don't know if I can trust you again." "You don't have to." That answer surprised me. She continued, "If forgiveness ever comes, I'll accept it. If it doesn't, I'll accept that too." I finally looked at her. "I don't hate you." She cried quietly. "Thank you. That isn't forgiveness yet." "I understand." That evening, Marcus found me sitting in my car. "You look exhausted." "I am." "Are you going to forgive Claire?" "I don't know." He leaned against the door. "Forgiveness doesn't mean giving someone permission to hurt you again." "I know. You can forgive someone and still keep boundaries." "I need to remember that." "You also need to stop carrying Daniel's anger." I looked toward the courthouse. I wanted him punished. And now I want Noah protected. The ruling came 2 days later. The judge recognized my parental role and the emotional bond between Noah and me. I could remain Noah's legal father. Daniel would receive limited contact under clear conditions. I closed my eyes when I heard the decision. Marcus whispered, "You won." I shook my head. "No. Noah got stability." Daniel walked out surrounded by his lawyers. For once, he looked smaller than I remembered. His own messages, choices, and abandonment had become public. He had built his case around biology, but biology couldn't erase 6 years of love. Outside, Claire approached me. "What happens now?" "I rebuild." "With me?" "I don't know." She nodded. "I'll respect whatever you decide." I appreciated that more than I expected. When I reached home, Noah ran toward me. Dad. I dropped my briefcase and caught him. Hey, buddy. Did you win? I smiled. We got something important. What? I get to keep being your dad. He hugged me tightly. Of course you do. I closed my eyes. Those 4 words healed something inside me. Later that night, I stood by his bedroom door and watched him sleep. I thought about everything I had lost. Trust. Certainty. The simple life I thought I understood. But I had also discovered something stronger. I didn't need revenge to prove I had been hurt. I didn't need Daniel to suffer before I could heal. And I didn't need Claire's forgiveness to find my own peace. I only needed to choose what came next. I would forgive when I was ready. I would remember without letting the pain control me. Most importantly, I would protect Noah, because being his father had never been about DNA. It had always been about staying, and I had no intention of leaving. For the first time in months, I felt my future belonged to me again. I could rebuild my marriage if trust returned, or walk away if it didn't. Either choice would be mine. The lie had taken my certainty, but it had not taken my strength. I closed Noah's door softly and whispered, "I'm still here." Then I walked downstairs, ready to begin again with quiet hope. 1 year later, my house felt different. Claire and I were no longer married, but we had stopped fighting. She had moved into her own apartment and started rebuilding her life without excuses. I still didn't trust her enough to call us friends, but I no longer woke up angry. Noah lived with me. Daniel visited sometimes under strict boundaries. One Saturday evening, Noah and I sat on the porch after dinner. "Dad." "Yeah. Can I ask you something?" "Anything." He looked at me for several seconds. "Am I really your son?" My heart stopped. I had feared that question for a year. I put my glass down. "Why are you asking?" Daniel said DNA makes people family. I took a slow breath. "Daniel is your biological father." Noah looked down. "So you're not?" "I am your father. But the test said you're not my real dad." I moved closer. "Who told you that being real means having the same blood?" "I don't know." I knelt in front of him. "Listen to me, Noah. DNA can tell us where our blood comes from. It can tell us who we are biologically related to. But DNA can't measure love. What else can't it measure? It can't measure who stayed awake when you were sick." He smiled faintly. "You stayed awake. Every time." "It can't measure who taught you to ride a bicycle." "You did." "It can't measure who listened when you were scared about your first day of school." "You did that too." His eyes filled with tears. "Then you're still my dad." I felt my throat tighten. "Always." He threw his arms around me. "Then you're still my dad." I held him tightly. "Yes, buddy." Finally, he whispered, "Can I still see Daniel?" "Of course." "Even if you're my dad?" "Of course." He pulled back. "Are you angry at him?" I was. "Why?" "Because I don't want anger deciding who I become." He nodded as if he understood. Then he asked, "Are you angry at Mom?" I looked toward the yard. "Sometimes I remember the pain." "Do you hate her?" "No." "Why not?" "Because hating someone would keep me trapped in the past." Noah leaned against me. "Mom said she's sorry." "I know." "Do you forgive her?" I smiled sadly. "Some things take time." "Will you ever trust her again?" "I don't know." He accepted that answer. "I think that's okay." "It is." The next morning, Claire came to pick him up. She stood at the doorway. "Is he ready?" "Almost." She looked at me. "How are you?" "Better." "I can see that. I hope you're doing better too." "I am." "I don't expect you to come back," she said. "I know." I finally understand that saying sorry doesn't repair everything. I wish I'd been brave enough to tell you. "So do I." She nodded. "I'll always regret that. I won't let regret control me." Her eyes became wet. "You really changed." "I had to." Noah came downstairs. "Mom." Claire smiled. "Ready?" "Yep." Before leaving, Noah looked at me. "Dad, I'll be back tonight." "I'll be here." He hugged me. Then he ran outside. I watched Claire take his hand. I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Peace. Daniel had once believed biology would give him power. It hadn't. The DNA test had changed my life, but it hadn't erased my memories. It destroyed the lie I had built my marriage around. It exposed a betrayal I never expected. It forced me to question everything I thought I knew about fatherhood. But it also showed me something I had never understood. Family isn't only about where your blood comes from. Family is also about who chooses you, who stays, who sacrifices, who holds your hand when life becomes frightening, who says, "I'm still here," even after everything falls apart. But I had not lost my son, and I had not lost myself. That evening, Noah came running through the front door. "Dad." "Hey, buddy." He jumped into my arms. "Guess what?" "What?" "I told Daniel something today." "What did you tell him?" "I told him you're my dad." I smiled. "What did he say?" "He said that's okay." I held Noah tighter. For the first time, I didn't care who biology favored. I didn't care what the DNA report said. I was Noah's father because I had chosen him, and he had chosen me. The truth changed everything. But it didn't change my son, and it didn't define me. My greatest victory wasn't proving Daniel wrong. It wasn't exposing Claire's lie. It wasn't winning a legal battle. My greatest victory was becoming strong enough to face the truth without letting it destroy the person I wanted to be. I looked at Noah and smiled. "Want 3 bedtime stories tonight, buddy?" He grinned. 4. I laughed. "Deal." And as I carried him upstairs, I realized something simple. The DNA test had changed everything. Just not the thing that mattered most. I was still his dad.